of the major arcana. Seal at the pomegranate major arcana.
Oh, I mean, I'm feeling quite dizzy at the moment. I've been spinning around, and I need to center myself, Sharon, before we do this video. Oh, that's better.
Ain't no centering me. This is my life.
Yeah, yeah. I love the Wheel of Fortune. I think it's got so many possibilities, and it's got so much to it. I really, really love it. I love the fact that it's number 10, that it's kind of like there in the middle. It's kind of it's up, it's down, it's around, it's so busy. It's like loaded.
And see, this was one of my problem children. This was one of those cards that I just really couldn't understand. I'd look at it and all I'd ever gotten was what I was taught. It's up, things are good. It's down, things are bad. So I had really difficult issues with seeing anything beyond that. But luckily, I get to study with people like you.
Well, I've not really looked into the kind of the history of it. I just get a lot out of it. And I do know that if this, I'm not sure when this video is going out, but if it is going out before May, are we not getting a big lecture on this card that's on offer?
We are.
Very in-depth lecture. So watch this space just in case it, yeah, there is going to be a very big in-depth kind of Wheel of Fortune workshop. But in the meantime, here in the card meanings, I've seen it as a game, that life is just a game. You win some, you lose some. I often see it like that,
Yeah.
I did go quite deep with it. At one point, I was seeing it as, the cycles of everything. It's very much about cycles. And if you think about it, the moon does its cycle once a month. It's in every single one of the 12 signs. The sun, we do a cycle round the sun like once a year. All the planets are doing their cycles. The whole universe is made up of cycles. So, and I see it as a kind of a cog in a machine, and that we are part of that. So I can look at it on a sort of a deeper kind of level, if that makes sense. If I go with the cyclic, I don't know what the word is.
I think
The
it's
cycle side of it, and I also think of the actual wheel, like the discovery of the wheel. Isn't it one of the first things that man ever found? And that's how things have got moved, apart from like horses and things like that. That's the beginnings of transport and all that sort of thing, and the beginnings of machinery. And the wheel is in itself is such a sort of an invention. I just think there's just a million possibilities with that card. There really are.
Yeah. Let me
And
pull it up.
I do think also people need to be aware of the fixed energies. Nice, chance, change. Yeah, I love that. But these symbols in the four corners, they've all got books. So they're in the middle of a cycle. It's kind of like it's life's journey. You're all the time like learning, you're studying, and then this is repeated again at the end of the majors when you get the world card, when those symbols are there but without the books. It's like they've kind of cracked it, So I see the link between the wheel card and the world card.
Yeah.
And this comes halfway through. I think it's very strategically placed in the middle of the majors.
And with those four corners, though, I see them as like, okay, change happens a great deal. And the more prepared you are for change, or the more knowledge you have about the changes coming, the easier it is for you to deal with. And I think that these all have books so they can get to that world card
Yeah,
and be prepared for
knowledge is
anything.
power, isn't it?
Yeah. And what really freaks me out, this occurred to me just recently, is like the Wheel of Fortune is such a mutable card,
Oh
right?
God, yes.
But each of these four corners, we've got the representation of the elements that are fixed.
I know.
We got Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio in eagle form. So we got these. I have to think that these fixed creatures are in a mutable state at this point to learn. They're changing their knowledge. So, but at first I was like, why are they fixed? It doesn't make sense, you know?
But I think it combines mutable with fixed. It combines when something is fixed, if it doesn't change, it doesn't evolve. Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So you need that fixed energy that's really, really established, and that's kind of like really that matures over time with it, as each of the cycles rotates. So the maturity kind of comes into it, but that in itself is a mutable thing. And
Yeah.
it's mutable fire. It is, to me, this is Jupiter, this is Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the mutable fire sign,
Yeah.
and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but Jupiter also rules um Pisces, which is mutable water. So the planet Jupiter, which is very big and strong, and it's almost kind of like it's next to the sun, isn't it, in terms of size and also in terms of magnetism. And
Yeah.
I did see once on a TV program that were it not for the planet Jupiter, we might not even be here, because with all the stuff flying around the solar system, all the rubbish and like bits of rock and God knows, well, I say bits, they could be miles long. Jupiter attracts them and takes the kind of hit. Otherwise we would have got some of that. So Jupiter like protects us. I
Yeah.
think Jupiter's like a stunning planet, but I just feel that you've got the mutable fire and the mutable water represented by the planet Jupiter. And this card, I think, captures all of that, to be honest with you. I mean, even that big, I don't know if this is deliberate or it's just the way I'm seeing it. I really don't want to talk like I'm some sort of expert. I'm just saying this is what I've kind of got from it. But even this big coiny looking thing here, it's sort of the colouring of Jupiter in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I never realized that. Yeah.
It just is. I love it. I really, truly love this card. And I also think this is another one of those cards that every time it comes up, I have to think, okay, where are we going with this on this occasion? It's not immediate or necessarily, because I just know it's loaded with possibilities. Now, are we going with the learning? Are we going with the cycles? Are we going with life's a game? Are we going with the kind of your fortune's good at the moment? And these are just the kind of the starting points, So it's like, well, let's just absorb it for a minute and really see what it's saying on this occasion.
I think okay, like this card, I swear to God, the tarot has a sense of humor, and this particular card is central to that humor. Now, you know that you see the words here. A lot of people say that's ROTA, Roman, for Royal Road. There's no evidence to support that, none whatsoever. But I know, like, I think you were with me when we did this reading, and a friend of ours was asking if she should do a tarot podcast or a hypnotist podcast, that she wanted to quit her job and just do podcasting. And so we were doing a spread, and this was the outcome, and all of us saw this big tarot.
Yeah.
And within 3 months, she'd quit her job because she was doing the tarot
Amazing.
podcasts.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And if you look at it backwards, starting at the T, it's Tora, which is Torah, which is
Yep.
like the Jewish Bible.
Yeah.
And also, if you start at the bottom and go clockwise, it says rota, which is
Yeah.
kind of, you know, like you can have a rota for doing jobs, like delegating things and just working as a team. And that's just playing around with the letters that are there.
Yeah.
Like, never mind all the other sort of symbols and things.
You could have that great big arrow. It looks like an arrow to me, pointing to the
Well,
east.
I've got to say, I wasn't even aware of the arrow, and I was at an event, and a woman said to me, "Am I going to meet a boyfriend in the UK or in America?" Well, I'd done a whole reading about her, you know, when is she going to find love and all this sort of stuff. And then after I'd done the whole reading, she said, "But where am I going to find him? Is it going to be in the UK or in America?" And I thought, how the hell? I knew the 78 cards. I thought, what? I thought, I'm just going to have to trust. I'm just going to have to trust this, that the tarot will send me an answer to this, right? And I got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And my immediate reaction was, oh my God, how does this answer it? And then it was just, I blinked my eye and I thought, it's pointing, because it was upside down from where it is here. It's pointing west and it's pointing towards the A. It gave me the answer. It was amazing. I just had to trust it, that out of those 78 cards, it would be an obvious answer to a very kind of specific, definite question.
I freaking love the tarot.
I know. It was honestly an unforgettable moment for me, that Wheel of Fortune just kind of like nailing it like that.
Oh,
And
man.
you do know my other story, don't you? Well, I know I've told this before.
You've told it to me, but not all of
know,
our viewers have been
But not
able
everybody.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this was, a friend of mine had a flat, and cut a long story short, there was she rented out the flat, so she wasn't living in it herself, but she was the landlady, whatever. And there was a leak that was coming through the ceiling, and she wanted to do a tarot reading on it. And I went, and I got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and I went, is the room immediately above where the leak is? I said, is that by any chance where their washing machine is? Because if you turn this card upside down, I spotted it. That I know you could say you might get that even if the card was upright, but I thought, why is it upside down? And it just drew me to the red thing, and I thought, that's clothes going round in a washing machine. And it was absolutely in that corner above where the leak was, and it was leaking.
I love that.
I know. And it was just like, it's done it again, this Wheel of Fortune, right? I thought, this is amazing, this card. It's fantastic.
It is.
And then I got another one, didn't I? Only last night, when we were doing this today. But it didn't come up. I got it. But we were doing a manifestation spread. And one of the questions is, when do you want this to happen by? And you have to choose... the manifestation was about something that I need it to happen by a certain date, right? And I just thought, I need to find a card that absolutely represents the date when I need this thing to happen by. And I thought, Wheel of Fortune. When when Jupiter does its next cycle into Pisces. I just went, Wheel of Fortune, that's the card. So now I'm looking at that and I'm seeing like Jupiter in Pisces. That's it. That is the kind of my manifestation for my thing to happen. Yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just kind of amazing that once again, that Wheel of Fortune, and that none of this has got anything at all to do with like knowing all the kind of the mythology or the symbolism or anything like that. It's just what I'm personally getting from it, you know.
And that's how to read. See what you see at that moment.
But I'm finding this particular card is shouting out lots of things to me. And I know that any of the cards could do that. But this is a really, really good one for me. So can I just say one other thing? Because of the nature of the card, because it cycles and because it's good fortune, bad fortune, all of that, part of me thinks, what is the point of this card in reverse other than like you said in the very first instance, well, upright is good fortune and down reversed is bad fortune. But I thought, no, for me, just like when I saw it as the washing machine and when I saw it as the kind of the arrow pointing to America, I needed the card to be in reverse to say to me, don't go with the normal Wheel of Fortune interpretations here. It's telling you something else.
Yeah.
Rather than just going Wheel of Fortune.
And that could apply to all the cards. It's telling you something
else. Yes.
Then yeah. But still within
that fraction harder, and you will see what this card is telling you. So yeah.
And I think it suddenly occurred to me some part of those fixed creatures being in that mutable wheel. That wheel is always turning. Those cycles are always happening. Yes. So there is that fixed element right there in the always.
Well, do you remember once my daughter Gretel, she's got a little bit more of an understanding of the tarot, but I mean she's just like, she's not even 20 yet, she's like 19 at the moment, and so this was a good like couple of years ago, and she happened to be in the room and we were doing a podcast, weren't we, and we said, what's your favorite card, Gretel? And I thought she was going to say, I don't really know any of them. She went, the Wheel of Fortune. She just came, I thought, I didn't even know she knew what that card was. And we said, why? And she went, well, even though it turns all the time, the middle of it stays very kind of like solid. So even if things are going up or down, it's very kind of strong in the middle.
Yeah.
I thought that's a really, really good observation.
Mandy and mine, our jaws just dropped, like, really? It was brilliant. It was brilliant. She's like, stay centered and you'll be fine. I was like, oh my God.
I know. But it is saying that as well. That is another way to go with it. And you know, there's that saying, this too shall pass. And I sometimes think that really applies to this. Yeah, I mean, I didn't make up that saying, but if someone's going through a bad time and this card comes up, that is suggesting, look, you know, this will pass. Life goes on, things move, you know, just go with the cycle of it and the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And be prepared. Just all those animals reading, be prepared. Have as much knowledge as you can. Absolutely. Never stop learning.
Yeah. I suppose you could say with this card, and maybe I've said it, but I don't remember sort of saying it. You could say to someone, does this situation repeat? Is this a situation? Is there a pattern here?
Oh, heck yeah.
I can't believe that I've not I can't remember actually ever saying that, but to me, that's quite obvious.
It is now that you've said it to me, but before then I'd never considered that. Now I'm like, duh. Duh.
I mean,
Wow.
I've had situations. I mean, this is not a unique thing for a human being to say, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah. Oh
Or
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, or don't. Or on the other hand, on a positive way, you could sort of say, "Oh, this opportunity will come round again." You know, don't. All right, you might have missed it this time round, but be ready for it next time.
That's me in high school. And okay. So I got to tell you this. And this is a Wheel of Fortune, but
Yeah.
I was insane about Adam and the Ants, right?
Oh yeah.
And he was coming to Texas, and my mom had a ticket for me. And my dumb ass snuck out the window with my friends one night and left this giant stuffed mouse in the bed. My mom went in to kiss me goodnight, and I wasn't moving. She had a fit. When she pulled back that cover and saw that giant stuffed mouse instead of me, she was pissed. I think she stayed up all night waiting for me at the front door with a freaking baseball bat. No, she didn't hit me with it, but she scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God, you naughty girl. I'd go mad if my daughter did
She
that.
was mad. And she was like, if you're gonna leave the house, leave a note and take a key. And her punishment, and at the time I was devastated, but looking back, I was like, this was the smartest thing she could have done. She tore up those tickets to that Adam Ant concert. You don't get to see him. That was the most important thing.
Wow.
And it broke her heart. And after the concert finished and I wasn't there, she said, he'll be back. And the next year, he was back, and my happy ass stayed in the house where I belonged. So I got to see him the next year.
So that basically the sentiment there of the Wheel of Fortune is, you know, like, learn your lessons in life, you know, because sometimes you will get another, often you will get one more chance. So
Yeah.
learn your lessons. Yeah.
And I
Because they are
learned.
learning their lessons as well, aren't they? Like sitting there with those books.
Yeah.
The University of Life, isn't that what they say?
That's a good for this Wheel of Fortune. Heck
Oh,
yeah.
Sharon, this Wheel of Fortune. I mean, I'm worried how long Harley's Workshop is going to go on for, because if he did like 4 hours on the death card, the Wheel of Fortune could be 4 weeks.
We could be there for 2 weeks.
I know.
But his information is just so deep.
Oh, his information. Just to sort of explain to everyone, what we're doing is we're talking as readers and about intuition and all of that sort of thing. But Harley's treatment of his workshops, he's really researched the history of the cards. I mean, you know, on a very kind of PhD sort of like level.
Yeah.
It really is kind of, you know, really properly looked into the origins of it all
and the symbolism and everything
absolutely.
about them. He's very thorough.
It's a whole different take on the cards for people that kind of like are interested in that and want to kind of a really kind of I don't know, full meaty background to all of the majors. He will eventually do them all. So,
and he doesn't leave any stone unturned. He is truly amazing. He goes deep. There
would be no way that he would use all of that stuff every time that card comes up in a reading for him, you know, but he would. It's still worth knowing though, because it just might trigger, having that very intense knowledge might trigger one little word that you say or feeling that you get from it. So it's a different approach. But yeah, I think it's a great card. It doesn't frighten me at all when it comes up.
Now that I've gotten to know it better, and see, I think what happens with a lot of readers, if you recall, I read with that daggone Morgan Greer. It was the only deck I even knew existed. And I learned keywords when I was 16. So I don't think I ever really looked at the cards for years. It's just, I knew them. I remembered what they meant. And once I started looking at the cards, and even with the Morgan Greer, it was just that wheel. You didn't see the little creatures in the sides. You didn't see anything else going on. Morgan Greer is a close up. Once I got a Rider-Waite or the Tarot Illuminati and started seeing all these other things in the cards, that's when it was like, whoa, there's more here. There's so much more here. It's
I
exciting to
think
me.
that day when I got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and I had to say, I was saying, is it UK or America? And really, I had not even considered that there was an arrow in the Wheel of Fortune prior to that day.
Oh,
Had not I hadn't been ever pointed out to me, and I don't think I'd ever really, looked at it hard enough to realize. I think I was very much into the ups and downs of life, and it wasn't like I wasn't getting anything out of the Wheel of Fortune, but that day that card screamed at me, right, the right answer. Like, it was so obvious, and I just thought, hello, Wheel of Fortune, now let me get to know you properly, sort of thing. And
yeah,
I think it's an amazing card.
it really
Amazing.
is. And
You've brought another one, haven't you?
I have. But first, I'd like to point out, and I don't know the Hebrew alphabet yet or the Kabbalah. I'm working on it, but I'm not going to even pretend to understand anything until I actually do. But there are elements of the Hebrew alphabet in the
Yes.
wheel as well. And
Yeah.
if you understand and know that kind of thing, yes, it's relevant. If you
Yeah.
don't, it's okay. It's not going to speak to you that way, right?
Yeah. Yes,
So
absolutely.
let me show you. I am going to bring up, I keep thinking we're on the Hanged Man. And I opened up my pictures and I was like, wait a minute, this is the wrong pictures, but I got the Hanged Man stuck in my head today. So you know who I'm bringing? Everyday Enchantment, Poppy
Yeah.
Palin, the Wheel of Fortune.
Oh,
I love it.
I love it. Very today, isn't it, with the rainbows and
The rainbows and the tire. I love it. I don't know if they're cheering for the tire or the man running after the tire. And the tire's got the rainbow tail and coins are flying everywhere. The fairies like cheering. Even the bee is pollinating. There's so much going on in this card. It's such a fun card. And the man chasing the tire is having fun, it looks
yeah.
like.
Everyone's happy. Everyone's rejoicing. It's kind of, is it like they're betting on who's going to win, the man or the tire, or is he going to catch the tire before it reaches such and such a place? Because I'm just thinking, why is that money there as well?
I hadn't.
But he looks like he's a mechanic or something. So
Yeah, it's coming from like the car
garage,
is in a bay, like it's being worked on at a mechanics and everything.
the
But I hadn't
runaway
even
tire.
considered whether they were betting or not, because that's one thing neither one of us said, is that the Wheel of Fortune card can be tied to gambling. Duh.
Oh yeah, yeah. It can. And
Very
I
sad to
know
gambling.
this sounds really naff because I've been watching it, but I'm thinking the rainbows, the cars, the wheels, RuPaul's Drag Race, the running.
No, though, seriously, if you got this card and you were like, what can I do to feel better tonight? And this came up, you would know, just cuddle up and watch RuPaul's Drag
RuPaul's
Race.
Drag Race.
There's a card for everything, people.
Oh, I know.
I
Oh,
love this
it's
card.
definitely one of the best cards. It really, really is. I'd much prefer to get the Wheel of Fortune than some stuffy old man sitting still on a throne. I'm sorry.
Any
But
day of the week. any day of the week.
Yeah. So yeah, do you particularly get anything out of it in reverse?
In
Because
reverse, I would see it as a first blush, mostly unhappy card. Like,
yeah,
oh, this is just a pain in the ass. Everybody's not cheering, and he's not. It would be the good, happy, sad type of thing
it
at
does
first
also
blush.
feel like, because of the cycles in it, I could definitely hear myself saying now is not the right time for this. However, I do think you'll get another chance at this at a better time.
Yeah,
I know that that could come up in other places in the tarot, but that feels particularly fitting for the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Now is not the right time, or now is a very good time for you to do this.
yeah,
And I also think that card might make me look at the person's astrology, like the transits that are coming up, because if they're saying, should I go to uni, or what, like this year, or should I have a gap year and go next year, something like that. And I got the Wheel of Fortune. Let's say I got the Wheel of Fortune upright. I might say, it looks like this is a good time to do it. Let me just check your astrology. And if the astrology sort of tied in with that as well, I'd feel
yeah.
very, very secure. I feel the Wheel of Fortune, whether it's upright or reversed, and how you interpret that, if that was reinforced by the astrology, by the most appropriate planet for the situation being in the right place as well in that window of time, or the wrong place in that window of time, I'd feel very secure about what I was saying to the client. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
getting at here? Like, yeah,
that makes a whole lot of
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I think the Wheel of Fortune, it's got a sort of I know that astrology does come into it, but I just feel the astrology speaks quite a lot sometimes with that card.
Yeah. Yeah. The wheel, and then we have a wheel for
Exactly,
astrology. They really
exactly.
do speak to
Yeah,
each other.
and it could be saying, look for when the good time is for them to do this particular thing, or look for when the bad time ends, because you might look on the astrology and you could immediately say, well, right now such and such a planet is affecting such and such a planet in your personal chart in a not a very good way. However, give it another couple of months, and that planet will have moved into a much better place. So that's what this card has told
And
me to check.
and for those times, because sometimes we can't wait on astrology. Something needs to be done right this minute.
Yeah,
So, or very soon, and we can't wait for those transits to come. It could be saying, gather as much knowledge as you can before you make this move. If you can't wait the so many months for the transits to be proper, at least have the proper knowledge in your brain.
use this time to sort of prepare.
Or
Absolutely. Yeah,
both.
yeah.
Yeah. So I
No.
brought another card too.
Oh, fantastic.
Tarot Grand Lux, Cheryl Marchetti. And just because it's so flippin'
Fantastic, Sharon.
beautiful.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God. I would quite like that as my backdrop. It's very, I love it.
Stunning. And the only elemental in there right now, well, the others may be too. I'm not familiar with animal elemental, but we've
Okay.
got the lion for the
Yeah.
fixed fire, but we have a bunny, we have a monkey, and we have at the bottom Chiro Marchetti. That's his.
Hang on. So the bunny, would that not be like Earth? Because a bunny, they live, rabbits, don't they live down rabbit holes and things like
Yes,
that?
yes, they
So if
do.
that was Earth and the lion was fire, and then you've got air, maybe that's Chiro Marchetti, I don't know, and water, the monkey. Oh, I don't know.
Maybe air is the monkey because monkeys have strong brains.
Didn't they
I would
send
see.
the monkey into outer space?
Oh yeah, yeah. And
So
I
that
I
would
just
make,
feel. Go
yeah,
ahead.
that would make him then the water, wouldn't it?
He's such a brilliant artist. I do have to equate him with water. you know.
Okay, yeah.
He's also very fiery and passionate too. So I may just be reading into things, and these are just things that he's chosen.
No, but on the astrological thing, you know, when you've got those symbols with the triangles, is obviously the fire and the air are up, aren't they? And then the earth and the water are down.
Yes. And air and earth have the lines through them to delineate.
So then if he has gone with that, the monkey would be air. The lion is surely fire, right?
Yeah.
So then this would be water then, because if the water is opposite the fire.
I see. Okay.
You see what I mean? If the ones that have got the lines across the triangle, so you've got the triangle that goes up without a line across is the fire, is that right? And the triangle that goes down without a line is the water, is that right? I think so. And then that would make that earth and air. And they've got the little lines going across. Have we got that the right way round?
Yeah.
So the earth is definitely opposite the air, and the water is definitely opposite the fire.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty basic stuff that I'd be inclined to think that he's got that right.
Yeah. He knows what he's talking about. And I absolutely love the clock, the astrological wheel, and the phases of the moon represented in the cycles, the card.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think that is a prize-winning Wheel of Fortune card.
Yes, I had to share it. I absolutely had to share it.
I mean, it's very different to your Everyday Enchanted, which is the scene captures it, but that is very traditional Wheel of Fortune, but he's taken it to new levels. I think it's fabulous. I love it. I didn't bring a card, but I did bring an affirmation.
All right.
I thought this might be a nice way to wrap up the video. So it is from the Tarot Affirmations deck, and the one that I have chosen, right? Each of the it's based on the sort of the Rider-Waite images, and each one they give 5 affirmations to work with. So, you know, if this card came out of your reading as the sort of the star card of the reading, and you wanted to go away and work with it, you know, you could do it with. I'm going to just read one of the affirmations now. Okay, so it's I am adaptation and opportunity. I really like that. It goes on. I do the best I can with what fortune brings, remembering that the wheel continues to turn.
That's perfect.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It really, really is. It's basically saying, be flexible, take your opportunities when the Wheel of Fortune brings you something, you know, and remember the wheel is just going to keep on turning. And that's really what it all boils down to. And that's life.
Yeah. That's definitely the life card.
Yeah, I do think it captures life. It captures the life of the universe that we're part of, and you know, and like I say, we're part of a much bigger thing. And I think sometimes the Wheel of Fortune card can remind you of that, like your place within that big machine.
Oh yeah. So, wow.
So on that note, I thoroughly enjoyed talking about the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, and we are sort of like moving onwards. We will see you all at Justice. If anyone else has got a Wheel of Fortune story or card or observation, please leave a comment, because we want to keep these videos coming.
Yes, keep us on top of the Wheel of Fortune. Give us some likes and some shares and subscribe and help us out. Keep us on top.
We'll see you at the court.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for engaging with us. Please like, subscribe and share. to book a personal, in-depth reading and to learn more about our incredible courses in tarot and astrology, where we can take you on an unforgettable journey from beginner through to professional. Please visit our website www.thepomegranatgrove.com. Vocals by Joanna Lee. Music by Xander Heath.